First of all, I want to say it's a privilege to be here. When I go to places like this, I always find it interesting to talk to the range of employees, and I'm continuously astounded at the range of qualifications that are here from different universities or different colleges or different walks of life, and how this moves at such bewildering speed. It's quite incredible. And I said to Colm outside, after having read his CV and his pedigree in the sense of his career, this is an example, really, a demonstration of belief and vision as to what can actually happen if you decide to take a particular route where you have a view that things are going to expand in the future. And from that point of view, it's great. Now, I have to tell you a little secret. Mr. Crowley down here and I travelled around Esker Hills down in Offaly there recently, and he's a mean hitter of the ball, actually.
You mean German?
His language is choice as well when he gets going. But just to say, it's the priority of government really is, first of all, to balance our public finances. Secondly, to deal with the question of the international crisis that affects a lot of countries. Retrieve our economic independence and sovereignty. But put the focus of the programme for government on jobs and opportunities, employment and careers. And that's why we had the government programme for jobs, for Action for Jobs, published early last year in respect of the 270 propositions that are in there for business and for opportunity. And that's why I think it's important that we be able to talk to people like you or your employees and say, look, that's where there's a blockage in red tape, or here's an improvement that government could actually assist. Because while governments don't create jobs themselves, it's absolutely critical that government listens to business and to people employed in business and say, look, here's another opportunity, here's a better way of doing this. Because if this company stands still, it's dead too in a few years' time, because it moves so fast. And that's why I think it's really, it enthuses certainly me to talk to the people. So like, I've come from this background, this is my screen, this is what I'm doing here, here are my customers, here's the changeover, this is the new structure. And that you can see new opportunities for different business, bigger business, better business in the times ahead. 50 new people here over the next 18 months, 28 online at the moment. That's a factory in itself, as it used to be down the country. If people employed 20 people, it was a pretty major issue. Yesterday, you announced 300 new positions with EA, a gaming company down in Galway, and like Peter was explaining to me that it's moved from sort of the old consoles and the Nintendo stuff to bewildering billions of people now on handheld connectors, in the sense of all being able to play games if that's what they want to do. And the speed of this is moving so fast. So I hope that when Carapay comes on here, the new subsidiary business, that, you know, having established the international presence in London and Paris, that actually grows. And I also say, Colm, that we set out 15 months ago to sort of restore a sense of credibility and trust and international reputation for the country here. I found, gone to America on the first few occasions, American business was always saying, like, what are you doing with your corporation tax? What is the position insofar as Ireland is concerned? And we take the time to send ministers who go out there on official business to call to chief executives of corporations and investors to show them that we're serious about restoring that sense of international reputation, and that's paid serious dividends. When you consider the arrival of 35,000 Irish Americans for the Notre Dame Navy game recently, and the impact that had on this city and on the economy, not just of the Dublin region, but of the country in general. And when you think of the potential of the gathering for next year to bring back so many people from all over the world to Ireland during the course of that 12 months, every one of you can have an impact on that as well, even if it's only one of your friends to come over for a weekend from London or from wherever else. And if you extend that to families, groups, organisations, sporting people or whatever else. We're having the presidency of the Union in 1st of January to the end of June. There will be 1,600 meetings will be conducted during the course of those 6 months. But that means opportunities for business, corporations and all that to come here as well and see the facilities that RELEX have here or that any other company have, and what it is to do business in Ireland. And what really impresses me is the energy coming off your workforce here. Like, you can sense it, that these are people who are passionate about what they do. And I'm quite sure they're not afraid to say, Colin, we could change direction here, here's something else we can do. And this is a very competitive business, and I commend you all in that sense. I know that Enterprise Ireland are involved here, and this is an organisation that has had to grow with a brand of excellence, because if we're in the export business and we're doing business outside our own shores, it's important that the interaction between the state agency and the companies is important. Sean's down here, and he did a presentation for our own parliamentary party down in Westport recently, and he was absolutely focused on what you can do to improve the opportunity for real competence to come in here by technological visas for companies and for people who've got a particular skill that's just not available here now. That's the kind of, revolution that you need to be able to say, shake things up and make them better. And that's what good government is actually about here. It's clear that Irish businesses have to start trading online, and the more that's done, the better. And that's why, Minister Rabbitte announced recently the national broadband system, which is paying big dividends around the country, which means that the journalist or the editor or whatever who lives down on Achill Head can be the same as if they're in central Tokyo with the facilities that are now there. It might interest you to know that we've. I didn't understand what latency between banks was in terms of time and what it means, but the shortest distance between trading banks is an issue from Wall Street to London to Paris and Frankfurt, and of course that's on the Great Circle, and the Great Circle for some reason or other in this area of business never came through Ireland. It went round every other way but in here, because we had problems with foreshore licensing and all that sort of stuff, and that's all sorted out. There are a number of companies that are seriously interested now in putting new cables across the Atlantic with that view in mind. Every millisecond is worth 100 million a year, I understand. So that also has the potential, arriving in Ireland here, to light up the entire country in terms of connectivity. Therefore, there are implications for data content storage, where the union would recognise that there would be 400,000 jobs over a period. These are all opportunities, and they're opportunities for your workforce here, and for those with whom they're acquainted to get involved in all of that. So all of that's important. I set out a goal quite some time ago to actually prove that we can be the best country in the world in which to do business by 2016. We've started that process by moving up the competitiveness ladder, by forcing down costs, by changing the wage setting mechanisms, by continuing to demonstrate that all the top IT people are here, all the software people are here, the born on the internet companies are here, and so if we get our own challenges dealt with here at home and get a deal with our colleagues in Europe, we can actually develop the cluster of well-developed economies in Western Europe to a point where they can really prosper, be well managed, be accountable in terms of the people's money, and therefore make an extraordinary impact on world trade. One of the things that's going to come in before the end of the year is a high-level report on the possibilities of trade between Europe and the USA. That's an issue that we'll address during the course of the presidency, and hopefully conclude a number of other trade agreements which will both help ourselves and help the continent. President Clinton made the point at the economic conference he called in January in Washington, that you got 500 million in the Union. You have another 600 million on the outskirts, on the fringes. Some of these countries in North Africa are growing at 5, 6, 7% a year with extraordinary potential. That continent will explode literally in terms of its importance in the next 20 years. But he also said that here in Ireland you have the best demographics of any country in Europe for the next 25 years. And put that together with your technology and your tax and your talent record and your track record, you've got an unbeatable package. I'd just like to wish you and your workforce, Colin, the very best. This is an exciting day for you, I know. It's an exciting week for me. I have to go and meet the Pope on Saturday, and I'm going to tell him that I need some divine intervention. We have waited long enough. 61 years is too long. And while I am a half a Donegal man, I know they will forgive me. Whether it be the hills of Donegal or the plains of Mayo, something is going to erupt the next weekend. And I hope that whatever happens, that it's a cracker of a game and that we get the right result, just like Relax. Thanks.